Well, we're turning to another important situation here in the world, and that is South Africa, which later this year will be hosting the BRICS summit. This is the year of South Africa's presidency of the BRICS, and the recent ICC arrest warrant for President Putin in Russia has created a bit of a controversy, as it were, regarding his attendance there at that BRICS meeting, which is still expected. And we are very, very honored to be joined by Tsakani Shiviti, who is the Provincial Treasurer of the ANC Youth League in the Limpopo province, and also the Chairperson of the African Youth Club's South Africa chapter. Ms. Shiviti, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's an honor to have you here. And I guess my first question for you is this. I mean, when the ICC arrest warrant was put forward vis-a-vis President Putin, many people, commentators, including myself, I'll just say, felt that this was designed maybe to even sabotage South Africa hosting a successful BRICS summit in the presidency this year in the service of, you know, the goal of being against Russia. I just wonder what you think about the role that this is now playing in South Africa's BRICS presidency.
I want to first address the issue of sabotage. President Putin can never be sabotaged in South Africa. Remember the relationship that the ANC has with Russia. Not only the ANC, but the country itself. We have a long history of many struggles that we fought side by side. Russia has been a friend of South Africa for the longest of time. So there is no threat to ourselves, but President Putin has always been welcomed in the country. Remember, South Africa is not in war with Russia. South Africa has been having a very good relationship with Russia. So for us, there's no threat, there's no problem. But ICC must deal with their issues on their own. South Africa cannot be dragged into issues that they are not, that does not concern us as a country. As our people, as a people and as a country and as a nation, we know where we are coming from. And it's better for one to know where they're coming from so that they can know where they are going. So we know our history very well. We are not confused. And I don't think our government can be that naive. We are not naive when it comes to Russia. We are very much clear. Hence, this warrant was taken out when towards the BRICS summit. But that does not have any impact on the BRICS summit. If President Putin was to come to South Africa, I am quite sure that even the South African people will accept him with open arms. But we are not going to root out the fact that there is a warrant of arrest. That warrant must be dealt with by ICC themselves. If they want to arrest President Putin, it is good to go to Russia and arrest him there in his country than to say South Africa must then enter issues that does not concern South Africa. South Africa will focus on the issues that South Africa, that has to do with South Africa. So all these other issues are not our issues. I don't think even the country must even enter these issues of arrest.
I want to ask you to respond to something, because in the U.S. media, in the U.S. corporate media, I should say, there's often, like, every few weeks these articles that will talk about, you know, Africa generally and how the countries in Africa are staying neutral on Ukraine, or worse, siding with Russia because of Russian propaganda. And of course, the implication with that narrative is that Africans are just so easily manipulated that they see a program from Russia or a program funded by China that says Russia are the good guys, and that's why they're taking these positions to not side with the United States against Russia, to not side with the ICC ruling. And I'm just curious, how do you respond to that narrative coming out of many, I think, capitals across Europe, and also, of course, in Washington?
You know, the Western propaganda, they are very good if there are people who are very good with propaganda themselves, if there are people who are very good with manipulation is themselves. So Africans are not stupid. Africans, like I said, Africa knows their history. We know where we are coming from. We are from a painful history of imperialism. We are not naive that we do not know the role of America and the West in our colonization. We are from deep, even now we are still deeply hurt by imperialist operations in Africa. So Africa has suffered a lot, and that's what they always do, because they colonized us, they brutalized us, they turned us into their slaves, and they think even today we can be slaves of their own propaganda. But what I can say is that their propaganda will catch up with them, because Africans are not stupid. African will stand with the truth. They go and bomb countries. No one say anything about them. If ever there's a media house that speaks to what they are doing, they then start their propaganda in their mainstream media. I am quite sure that this information is known by even yourself. We know this. This is what they will always say about Africans. Africans are very much aware. We know our friends. We know our struggles. Hence, we will always stand with the truth.
I wonder if you could also talk a little bit about the importance of the BRICS as an institution for South Africa and Africa in general. South Africa's presidency has been marked by the slogan of really putting Africa in the center of the conversation around multipolarity and all of the changes happening in the global South. So what is the importance of this forum, the BRICS Forum and the BRICS Summit for South Africa and for the continent?
The BRICS, the establishment of BRICS has been a very huge success for ourselves, because for once we are bringing forth a multipolar world. There is that hope for a multipolar world. There's a hope for us to move from the current world order where you have one state bulldozing all of us to follow their economic models. We actually want to have Africa that can stand on its own, and BRICS can offer. We believe that BRICS can offer that. We believe that BRICS can offer an opportunity for Africans to actually be able to benefit from their own minerals. We have raw minerals in Africa. We're very much rich as a continent, but we are not enjoying our riches because we are coming from history of people who have been coming here to steal from Africa. So BRICS brings hope to us, especially us, the generation of young people, that at least we can have the world that is very much inclusive and is very much open for participation economically and otherwise.
As for the issue of the ICC, I'm sorry. Continue. No. I didn't realize you were still talking. The internet cut for a moment.
No, you can continue from my side.
Well, I was going to ask about the issue of the ICC. I'm just curious, I'm not sure how the ICC was viewed before this recent arrest warrant for President Putin, but after the fact, now that that warrant is out and there's some pressure on South Africa to actually arrest him, I'm curious how the ICC is being viewed as an institution, at least in South Africa.
The ICC has been very biased on their rulings and in their operations. We have problems here in Africa. We have problems. Western Sahara has been occupied. You never hear any ruling about that. You have a problem in Palestine where the people are being killed and butchered every day. ICC is not showing any ruling that is effective on them. There's been we even have problems in our neighbor in Swaziland. We have people who are butchered every day there by the monarch. But we are not hearing the ICC ruling on the matter. We have so many issues where we have seen America bombing other countries, but we have not seen any ruling of ICC against the presidents in question. So we are very concerned. As Mina, as a young person, I'm very much concerned about how ICC has been operating, has been executing its operations. That today, when there is a conflict between, there is an issue between Ukraine and Russia, they jump to say that the president must be arrested. Who have they ever arrested in their life? They must show us people that they've arrested. Countries that have been invading other countries, even ourselves, from where I'm seated as a South African, we have not seen people who have oppressed us and colonized us being arrested. There are a lot of black people who have been butchered in Africa during apartheid, but these people have not been arrested. But today we want to see ICC. ICC is grandstanding and appearing as a bigger body now, as a bigger body for the world now, to arrest, selectively arrest other presidents and not arrest these other ones, because these other ones, maybe they are in charge of ICC. So from where I'm seated, I don't understand the running of ICC. I don't think ICC is a body that has has integrity that we must look up to as the world, to say this body can actually execute something that is progressive.
No, I think those points are very well taken, and I know a number of people in South Africa have been taking issue with this. Obviously, there is a similar situation with President al-Bashir of Sudan, where they tried to do something similar. I mean, is it sustainable for a country like South Africa to maintain its membership in an institution like the ICC that, as you point out, is acting in such with such a biased manner in terms of how it proceeds?
Actually, it is not sustainable for any other country that is a member of that ICC to sustain their membership, based on how the IEC has been handling itself and matters, and biasly handling matters of countries. It is not, IEC is not a body that we must all look up to. We need to have a body that actually stand for the people. We need to have a body that actually stands for people who are actually oppressed, not these other gimmicks that we are seeing that they are playing on us. I really don't think ICC is necessary currently.
You know, one final question I just want to ask you here before we let you go. I did a lot of research into what different political formations in South Africa were saying about this, and I could only find one that felt the ICC was right. That was the Democratic Alliance, the DA. And I wonder why you think that might be.
The DA has a history in our country of being unprogressive. They are anti-democracy, they are anti-freedom, they are anti-anything that is right. So it is not confusing to see the DA speaking like that. Hence, you only see the DA in our country speaking in that language. A DA is a configuration of parties that have been there during apartheid. They have been ruling the country. So they feel that oppression of people, it's normal to them. So you can imagine with such a party operating in a country, DA is not supposed to operate. It's not supposed to happen actually to our people. They are not necessary. So hence they will speak anything that is not necessary to our people. We know their imperialistic agenda. So they are bound to speak like that because they must feed their stomachs. That's how they feed themselves, through the blood of our people.
Well, we really appreciate you being willing to join us, Ms. Shiviti, with the ANC Youth League, the provincial treasurer for the Limpopo province. Thanks for giving us some of your very precious time, I'm sure, here on the Freedom Side.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And have a great day. That's
You
it.
too. Thank you.